Okay, hi, and welcome to Team PI Pokemon. It is Broken Deck Monday, and today we are very, very honoured to be joined by a long-lasting follower, and indeed, if you just go through the archives of the Team PI Pokemon videos, you'll actually find that he was one of the early guests on the channel, and he was very, very archetypal in terms of setting up the channel. So I'm very, very grateful to be joined by the one and only Connor Bird. Well done. Woo!
Hi guys.
Thank you very much. And today, the reason why I've invited Connor is because he has been absolutely storming the season. First of all, I just want to give you a chance, Connor, just in case there are a couple of viewers who maybe don't know what your recent accomplishments have been. Maybe just give a quick rundown.
Okay, so I've been playing for about 3 years now, sort of thing. I did make Worlds this year, 2017.
Congratulations.
During that season, I made top 64 every UK regional, won a few cups, a lot of top fours, that sort of thing. This season, I've not performed as well as I'd hoped so far. I've been to 3 regionals, Liverpool. Wait, 3 regionals? 2 regionals?
Yeah.
Well, okay, 3 regionals if you include the Anaheim Open.
Okay.
But Liverpool and Bremen. All 3 events were very poor showing, in my opinion. Didn't even top 128. Anaheim Open and Liverpool. Top 64 was missed at Bremen as well. But I've got a League Cup win this quarter and a League Cup top 4, both with Decidueye Ninetales.
Excellent. And that pretty much is the inspiration for today's video. And we've got your list right in front of us. Now, we were actually, just speaking just before we came onto the camera. And I think the last time I set up a Decidueye Ninetales was with Gonzalo's list.
Oh,
yeah, there was a lot of it definitely did well in London internationals, and then it did really well in just basically every single other place in the world. And then suddenly Forest of Giant Plants just sank out of the system, and it just disappeared for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of an impact?
Everyone thought the deck was very weak without Forest Giant Plants. I wouldn't say it's super strong right now. Definitely not tier 1 still, but I think it's a good rogue / a contender for tier 2.
I mean, you've been playing in quite a few League Cups. You've been following, it's hard to describe, especially with players who are just coming to the scene. Maybe they don't have a chance to travel to tournaments that often. But you kind of just get a general feel as to what is actually gaining what I call traction. Yeah. Traction is something that I've referred to quite frequently in videos. The things that are starting to go on the rise, in terms of popularity, maybe even anticipate metagame shifts as well. So would you actually be saying at this moment in time, coming into we've just had Burning Shadows, we're coming into Shining Legends, Crimson's on the horizon at the moment. Do you think this is actually a deck that may be worth testing out because it's something that's gaining a lot of traction at the moment?
I'd say it's definitely worth testing with all these evolution decks in format, the stage 2s. Spread Devolve is a very strong deck.
Mm-hmm.
I say Spread Devolve, but that's the general strategy of the deck. I think it's very strong because of all these sort of weak basics that evolve into these massive stage 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Gardevoir.
Yeah. 60
HP Rowlet is this 230 HP behemoth of Gardevoir. You spread a few times, some Feather Arrows here and there, and then Miraculous Shine for the Devolve.
Yeah.
You're taking 3 prizes easy. And then they just lose all steam, sort of just hit her out, and then they can't come back from that.
I think that's the shift, really, isn't it? Because it's gone to I haven't seen this for quite some time, just like a shift to stage 2. It really does harken back to the days where we were able to, play with Blaziken, and then the first kind of forage for Gardevoir and Gallade when they were actually stage 2 decks. Yeah. It's been years since stage 2 has really taken off, and you're absolutely right with the Gardevoir GX is now at the moment. We've got Metagross. There's a lot to take advantage of, and it's quite good for the game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Stage 2 is quite healthy for the game, especially within recent years, and having just these basic Pokemon EX that are very powerful.
Yeah.
Or just storming the stage with sort of Stage 1 decks here and there.
Yeah.
Not really taking the spotlight at all.
Yeah. I think it's a great sign as well, because Forest of Giant Plants was definitely a card that definitely firmed up the position of Decidueye towards the end of last season as well. We had lots and lots of success internationally as well. Well documented how John Kettler performed at the North American Internationals. He could have swept it as well. It was so close, and then Tord Reklev just did it right at the end with Drampagarb. And Drampagarb was...
I think potentially with the increase in popularity of Decidueye, Drampagarb is always on its tail. Drampagarb is a very, very bad matchup.
Yeah.
Just because you're putting damage counters down, they want damage counters to activate their Berserk. 180 damage and Garbodor lock is absolutely horrendous for the deck.
Okay.
Well, now with the inclusion of Potown, it means when you evolve, your Pokemon is softened up. Very easily one shot. It's very bad for the deck. Definitely one of the worst matchups.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now is, we're just going to go straight into the deck, and a couple of changes. Obviously, things that I really am interested in finding out. First of all, obviously, you got the main character. You got Decidueye-GX. You have to be playing 4 of that. And with Feather Arrow, you would just want to try and get maybe 3 Feather Arrow. If you're lucky to get 4 Feather Arrow, maybe it's you're in a fantastic position to win anyway. 4
Decidueye-GX is almost unheard of with this deck now. When Forest Giant Plants was around, 4 Decidueye was reasonable.
Okay.
You're dreaming. I think 3 was very much quite easy to get out.
So what was the match? So like you've only just, I mean, like, you played Decidueye at the last League Cup. Did you try this out before the last League Cup at Cannock?
No, not at all.
Okay. So
the only experience I've had with this deck was when we had Forest Giant Plants.
Okay. And just did a little bit of research, and the deck was something that was tried out before at Bremen.
Yeah. I was just sort of... I was playing a lot of Espeon-Garb. Really not happy with it. It has an inherently awful matchup against Gliscod-Garb.
I have to point out that I do wish slightly that you were annoyed with Espeon-Garb before we actually met each other. Chesterfield. I think, was it Chesterfield or Loughborough that you beat me with it?
Loughborough.
Yeah. The irony was that I actually ran Espeon-Garb, and we only had like a 2-card difference, and I think Parallel City was the difference as well. But but that acid spray still lives with me, because I didn't know
Choice Band acid spray on a Garbodor.
But we won't go into that. We won't go into that. It's okay. It was water under the bridge. Did you make cut that day as well?
No, I've bubbled 10.
You bubbled.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Never mind. That's why I'm not too bitter about that. Yeah. But so at the League Cup, how many games did you play in total? Because obviously you made top cut. How many games did you play with this?
What, before the event or at the event?
At the event.
So I guess I'll run through the rounds.
Yes, please.
So we'll get an idea of how many games I played. So round 1 was Gardevoir. I'm thinking, oh great, this is an incredible matchup. I just ping some damage down, evolve, easy peasy. Game 1, I dead draw. Nothing really happens. I'm too concentrated on playing Ninetales down to get like 50 snipes, and that's really bad. Like 6 energy between you and a choice band KOs you.
Yeah.
And you're getting like 150 damage snipe off.
Okay.
So you want to be attacking with Tapu Koko and getting Feather Arrows down.
Yeah.
That's what happens game 2. But game 1 took so long, and I didn't scoop early enough.
Yeah.
And then game 2 also took a long time, so we didn't have time for a game 3.
Oh no.
So that ended in a tie.
Uh-huh.
Round 2 was Vikabulu. Game 1, a dead draw.
There's a recurring theme here. How did you
yeah.
feel at that moment in time in the tournament?
I'm thinking, if I lose this, I drop.
Okay.
So I really just wasn't impressed at all. Game 1, again, I put down Ninetales.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put the Ninetales down, I'm like, oh, Vikabulu one-shots it with a band.
Yes.
So he knocks out my Ninetales. I look at my board state, I scoop.
Yeah.
Game 2, I'm thinking, okay, Koko, triple Ninetales and Devolve.
Yeah.
Absolutely zerg down Vikavolt. That's what I do. He can't KO my Decidueye at all.
Yep.
Because I just Max Potion, remove the damage.
Okay.
What are you going to do? So game 3 also happens that way, I win. Round 3, I'm against Ninetales. Game 1 I win, spread Devolve, kill some Lele's. Quick game. Game 2 took so long. My opponent put down the baby Ninetales with the ability, so I can't actually attack it with any of my GXs. And it's a very GX-centric deck. So I'm having to put all my Featherers into that, and also try and fly and flip a few times.
Yeah.
I just play a really long game, so I'm like, okay, this can be a tie, but it could also be a win if I play it out long enough.
Yeah.
And my opponent can't take the last few prizes. But it goes down to the last 3 turns of time, and they take 2 prizes.
Okay.
So it ends in a tie, and I'm like, I'm 1-0-2, and I'm like, I absolutely have to win out.
Yeah.
Round 4, I'm against my good friend Reese Williams, also part of my team Brown Sleeves.
Okay.
He's playing Xerneas Break. Game 1, I'm thinking, okay, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
Because they can slap down a load of energy, deal massive damage. But hitting 240 is quite hard.
Yeah.
And also, EXP share, as I found out, doesn't activate when you KO things on the bench.
Yeah.
So I just put all my effort into KOing Xerneas on the bench.
Yeah.
To remove like double colorless and fair energy and things like that. And that happens in game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm set up perfectly, get lots of KOs, easy.
Yeah.
Round 5. I'm 2-2 at this point. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm against Gardevoir. And I'm like, okay, so after my round 1 debacle, I know the strategy. I know what I'm doing. Flying flip, feather arrows, devolve, the whole shebang. It all goes off in 1 and 2. Good stuff. So I'm really happy. 3-0-2. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm like, okay, just need to win and I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm against Hoa Salazzle. So I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm like, oh god, fire against my grass, water, electric thing.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking back to Bexhill League Cup just before rotation and Forest is removed from the format.
Yeah.
And both me and Alex Dow played Decitails.
Yeah.
And he 4-0'd it in Swiss and Top Cut. So I have a little meet up with him before, ask him the matchup.
Yeah.
He explains it, and I'm like, okay, happy days.
Well, what is the matchup?
So Ho-Oh, crazily enough, is weak to lightning.
Yeah.
So
choice band.
go choice band DC to a Tapu Koko, you're hitting 100, you're softening everything else on the bench.
Yeah.
So game 1, I'm like, okay, that's the game plan.
Okay.
I've got Ninetales to KO Salazzles and Volcanion and things like that.
Yeah.
Game 1 doesn't go my way, and I'm like, oh dear, I've absolutely buggered this. I'm not in Top Cut now. Game 2, I'm right. Okay, I'll play a little slower, think things through, and everything just happens. It goes my way. It's really good.
Yeah.
And game 3 was really close.
Yeah.
It came down to like 3 turns, and I'm like, my opponent's dead draw, and I've got 3 turns to sort of take 4 prizes.
Yeah.
So I Lysander a Ho-Oh, which already has 100 on.
Lysander? A Guzma?
Guzma.
Yeah.
And I've got like this banded Koko.
Okay.
And this Ho-Oh already has 100 on. There's a Volcanion on the bench has got 160.
Yeah.
So I fly and flip.
Oh my
take
god.
4 prizes.
Oh my god.
And my hand is also dead at this point, and my Koko dies to like a Salazzle.
Yeah.
So I like Guzma up his Guzma something up, a Volcanion that has nothing on it, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that, or a Turtonator, I can't remember. So then I'm doing Snipes to his Lele on the bench. It's almost dead.
Right.
But he also has a Salandit that has 2 damage counters on.
Yeah.
I accidentally put 50 onto Lele, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've just thrown the game for myself. But I realised he has to take 3 prizes, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
He just draws and passes. I have 50 damage to snipe this Lele and win.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm ecstatic. I'm in top cut. I'm like, okay, I'm at 75 CP. That's good. I'll take that. And in top 8, I'm against, again, my good friend Luke Williams, also part of Team Brown Sleeves.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely ripping up events with Volcanion.
Yeah.
Since,
I'm scared. I am scared of his Volcanion. I don't care what deck I take. And Luke and I always seem to play at events. You've seen it as well. You know, at virtually every single event.
Luke's absolutely blossomed as a player this season. Absolutely tearing up. He's almost got his Worlds invite already. It's absolutely insane.
How many points is he on?
Like 180, I think. He can get his invite for league challenge points at this point. So I'm against him. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind losing at this point. I'm happy for Luke to do well, move on and get even close to his Worlds invite. Game 1, he flips over Volcanion, I flip over Lele. I'm like, okay, this could be a quick game or it could be a really long game. He key-aways to his Volcanion. And
how many did he attach?
3.
Oh, right. Because some people do 4.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I like bridge it for like double Vulpix, 1 Rowlet, because actually developing 1 Decidueye is very relevant.
Yeah.
Because it means you can Ninetales Choice Band do 160 for Volcanion.
Yeah.
And then you can do like the 20 sort of mid to late game to take 2 prizes, which is really good. But I just DC Choice Band my Lele, do 130.
Does it cross your mind at this point that you could DC Vulpix Choice Band for 100?
I had no way to retreat my Lele.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, I'll go all in on the Lele. Whatever.
Okay.
So I do 130, and he goes Scoop.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, this is good. Game 2, I start Rowlet.
Right.
He gets set up. He puts down Brocklet Hill, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't lose.
Yeah, because you can get your Vulpix.
I get out of Vulpix. He guzzles up the Vulpix. So I'm like, Scoop.
Yeah.
Game 3, the same thing. I start Rowlet. He puts down Brocklet Hill. I Vulpix.
Yeah.
I also bridge it.
Yeah. So what do you bridge it at this moment in time?
Vulpix, Rowlet, Tapu Koko.
Okay.
And then he keeps attacking the Vulpixes, but I develop 1 Ninetales.
Mm-hmm.
And this Ninetales basically carries me for the game, so does Tapu Koko. I get off like 100 damage on a Ho-Oh, 20 spreads. He retreats, I do like 20 spread again, but he's filled his bench, so he can't even like Lele the Guzma to knock out my bench stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just spreading and doing like Ninetales stuff. And it gets to the point where I take 4 prizes in 1 turn with Koko.
Yeah.
Again. Banned Koko on a Ho-Oh, and there's 160 on a benched Volcanion.
Yeah.
And then I just snipe down a I think I just sniped down a Volcanion.
And this is the 3rd game as well, so there's a huge amount of pressure on this.
3. This Volcanion had like 130 on it, so I do like 50 snipe in that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hard feelings between me or Luke about that. We got to play actual games in 2 games.
Yeah.
No, in 1 game. At the very end, it was like a real game, and it was good.
Yeah.
I move on to top 4. I'm against Tamal Cameron.
Heard of him.
XT card game. Very good player. One of the best players in the UK. He's playing Gardevoir, and I'm like,
And he's on the back burner as well of a top 8 at Bremen.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I watched him build the list on the train. I helped him build it. I know what's in the deck. If Swiss is anything to go by, I've got a good chance.
Yeah.
Game 1, I dead draw. Game 2, I dead draw. That's it.
That's it.
And then I'm out.
So, did interesting question, because obviously you touched upon the fact that you had 3 full games. What was the time limit in Top Cut?
50 minutes.
Was it another 15 minutes? And
Yeah.
did that kind of affect, like, you? Because obviously, you know, we're not in a Forest of Giant Plants era. Does that actually affect the setup of your Decidueye deck? You know, before it just goes all in.
Yeah, it does, because a lot of the time I found, say, I turn 1 Bridget, I get like 2 Rowlet and a Vulpix.
Yeah.
And then coming into like turn 2, I Dartrix, either double Dartrix, or I can rare candy Decidueye.
Yeah.
Like, rare candy Decidueye is like not that often, because I only play 2. There's only 2 candy in this list.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen much. More often than not, you just double Dartrix, and then turn 3 you double Decidueye.
So it seems like the pressure point really is on Vulpix.
Yeah, like Beacon is insane. Like, just being able to Beacon to find your pieces is really good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the strength of Vulpix in these stage 2 decks, like Metagross and Guardi.
And it's worth, in that sense, then it's worth for players who are picking up this deck to stream 2 Vulpix. That's why when you bridged it earlier, you didn't get 2 Rowlets and a Vulpix. You got 2 Vulpix straight off.
I got double Vulpix a lot against the against the fire decks more than anything, because obviously putting down Rowlet into Decidueye is 2 prizes, or like 1 easy prize sort of thing. And
they're distracted as well by the Vulpix. If they're just if they leave that, that's doing you know, just a blatant with 2 energies. That's 80, 160 with Choice Man.
Yeah, and Koko spread does work, and obviously if you could develop the 1, like actually developing 1 Decidueye again against fire decks, the 20 snipe is super relevant.
Yeah.
Because you like I say, you do 160 with a 9,000, and they would just retreat it, and you're like, I either can't get my Koko, or I'm never going to be able to hit this 20 snipe, or you have to invest too much into it.
I have no idea. Private trade. I always say no to those, just in case anyone's watching. You haven't really mentioned Espeon.
Yeah, so the strength of the deck is the devolve.
Yeah.
I devolved. Let's still check my matchups. I devolved against Ninetales once, and Gardevoir 3 times in Swiss.
Yeah.
Again, obviously against Hosalazul, I didn't bother. Because it's like 2 prizes.
No point.
Vikabulu, there was no point either.
Yeah.
Because I set up the Vikabolts to be KO'd rather than devolved.
Yeah.
As against Xerneas, there's no point either, because 130 HP or 150 HP doesn't matter.
And you don't want to return the breaks back into their hand, because
because then they can just reuse them.
They just reuse them. That's what Xerneas wants to do. They want you to do that. If you devolve them, they're like, yeah, okay, we're that's good. That's a good
exactly.
thing.
They just put their breaks back down again. They're hitting big damage.
So, what made the final? Gardevoir GX, yeah?
So, in top 4 was 3 Gardevoir GX, and me being the one, I am the devolve, I win the stage 2 matchups deck.
Yeah.
I get knocked out of cut. I get knocked out of top 4 by the deck I'm meant to be able to devolve and win.
Yeah, and you have like an ideal matchup, so you could easily have taken it.
I could have ran away with the tournament. I think had I played the list a bit beforehand, and had I made the changes that I thought of for the list, not just playing a net deck list, because this is the list that got top 16 at Bremen Regionals.
Yeah.
Is it Heddi Brahmi?
Heddi Brahmi. We're gonna give him a shout out as well, because you know he's the inspiration that committee. Did you get to watch any of his streams? streamed matches?
I haven't watched the Limitless stream at all. No.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was watching the streams, it just gave me the impression that, I mean, like, I have played Decidueye before, so it's not as if it's a complete. I'm going to pick this up and
concept,
and I don't know what to do with it. Deck. But there were some really, really complicated permutations that came about, and he knew what to do. And even when he knew what to do, because this was his deck, sometimes he actually just lost. So I was a bit scared off.
Yeah, there's a lot of micro decisions with the deck in terms of where you place the damage.
Incredible number.
Like, you have to look like 3 turns ahead.
Yeah.
In terms of where you want the damage.
Yeah.
Like, against Vikabulu, I had 50 damage sniped this Lele turn 1. Well, not turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah.
Because it was stuck in his active.
Uh-huh.
And then when he retreats it, I put 20 more damage with a snipe.
Yeah.
Later on. Which sets me up for, like, triple Feathero and a ping from Ninetales for game.
Mm-hmm.
Which evidently that comes around on, like last turn of, like, game. I need to take 2 prize, so I'm like, triple Feathero, Ninetales. But because of that, I was able to take out, like, Vikavolt threats and the Bulus and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all these, like, damage counter placements super relevant. Like, it's very much like Manectric Bats back in the day, and, like, Wombat, things like that. Sort of going back a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I sometimes refer to as a historically successful strategy.
Yeah, placement of damage.
I mean, like, if we want to go there, like Rocklock,
Tyranitar.
It was Dark Tyranitar.
Yeah.
The days of Rocklock. I actually ran Rocklock, and I came second in nationals that year, and no one knew what I was playing until when I flipped over the card, because we didn't have internet, like, in as much as teams and stuff like that. It was like Pokegym, forum, that's it. No Facebook, nothing.
Sort of white. Like, in this day and age, it's so easy to look online and just find a list.
Oh yeah.
Like, a good list that's performed well. You're just like, oh, I'll just take that. There we go, done. Like, I mean, even going back like 2 years, 3 years to when I first started playing.
Yeah.
Like, deck lists weren't easily accessible. Like, the most you had was like the top cut.
Yeah.
And that might have been it. Top cut. There were no sort of pages. Like, I didn't even know about Pokegym or, like, Hey Trainer or anything. But
easy to find. Even there are deck reports that I've done 16 years ago. To this day, they're still on Pokegym. I hope they never ever take that down. But I think you've touched upon a really important general point here, because a lot of people think they say, well, yeah, it's easy to net deck. Let's not forget, right? Good players that can net deck become dangerous players, like really, really dangerous players, because there's a simple fact that if they're benefiting like your regular average, non-competitive, non-professional player who's in it to try and make sure that they secure their world's invite and go for top 22 for all of the benefits that follow. Good players will look at and use this information and acquire this information and learn so much. So it is actually much tougher. You actually see the players who've been playing year in, year out, they're not getting knocked off the top perches, and I think it's a really, really important point. I think we're noticing quite a few older players coming back into the game, and it's so easy for the older players to come back into the game because
they just find like all these new decks.
That's it.
All this information's online already. They just reap what everyone else has sowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very easy. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So almost got it. But you got how many CP points?
I'm on 82 CP at the moment. Like, that's a League Cup win and a top 4. I'm gonna try for another League Cup win this weekend to put me on 100. I think that'll put me in a lot more comfortable position.
Definitely.
But I've got a lot of. This year, I'm really traveling. Not for top 22, but a lot for the social aspect and sort of seeing the foreign countries and the foreign regionals.
Are you taking any in?
Any
European destinations?
Yeah. So I've already been to Bremen.
Okay.
This coming up is Bilbao, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
It's just like it's too close to my new job coming up, so I can't really take the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Turin lined up, which is an Italian special.
Okay.
After that is Interconts in the UK. Then we've got in January Leipzig.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really looked past that, but all my flights are already booked. They're all really cheap.
Nice.
So why not? If I don't go, so what?
Yeah.
I lose like £30.
Yeah, it's hard for the seniors. It's hard for the juniors because the juniors have to take their parents. Well, I don't mind. But my work minds, obviously. But having said that, Malmo is on the horizon. There's quite a bit of interest for that because it's school half term.
Yeah, apparently Malmo was a good trip from what I've heard from the other UK players.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think there's going to be. I think the interesting thing about Malmo is that there'll be a UK contingent, and that's going to be nice because it's not like UK players against each other. It'll be like the UK players are actually going to stick with each other, and I think that adds an extra dimension.
You find that, from what I've actually found just from going Bremen and Worlds, you get your niche, your country niche.
Yeah.
And you all more talk to each other, talk decks a bit more.
Absolutely.
Because it's such a diluted field of. It's really bad with foreign players.
Yeah.
I know where the foreigners going into these other countries. But
overseas players, yeah.
Yeah, it's the best word I've got.
Yeah.
But like the UK niche, we just talk we all talk decks, things like that. Once we go abroad.
Yeah. And everyone's good. Everyone's earned their place, and there's and everyone knows as well. Like you could just go like 2-3 drop or something like that, and it's okay because you're just going to go into the Anaheim Open or the equivalent. You're going to have a great time there anyway. Yeah, it brings the UK community together. That's what I always found as well. The interesting thing was that when the game was sort of, totally dominated by the US base.
Yeah.
And we only really had like two people from each country going to Worlds. Yeah. Purely outside the CP kind of system. We actually found as a continent.
It was ELO back in the day, sort of thing.
We actually found as a continent we gelled together. So, you would meet the same Danish players and you'd meet the same German players, and there was that camaraderie as well. So that's always going to be there. I think people who don't belong to the Pokemon community just yet, the trading card game, they don't realise that. That's what drives it forward. The cash is nice, the status is nice, the streaming is nice, but it's at the end of the day, it's the community that you have. Yeah. All right, I've got a couple of quick questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. All right. First one's on energy. Grass energy or rainbow energy?
I think as we stand, grass energy. My reason being Drampa. Like your Drampa guard matchup is bad enough as is. If you put rainbow energy in, you have sort of no bound, sort of rebound to anything. You're not going to get off consistent razor leaves.
Yep.
They're just going to righteous edge, remove all your energy, and you're like, I can't attack.
All right. Okay. Next question: 4 grass or 3 grass?
I'm somewhat tempted by 4, but I quite like 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the list is very tight. I did consider maybe cutting a stretcher for a super rod, but I just don't think it's impactful enough. Like rescue stretcher in back, like a Vulpix or your Koko is really good.
Yeah.
Rescue stretcher in back of Decidueye piece is also really good as well. Mm-hmm. Rescue stretcher Lele, rescue stretcher Espeon, like all your cards are like instant impact cards. They're not shuffle them back into deck.
Yeah.
I'll get them back in a turn or two.
Mm-hmm.
You want them then and there. Like I found myself rescue stretchering for Koko and Espeon and Lele more than anything else.
Okay. Moving on to the Pokemon. Did you ever get a chance to use Sharp Blade Quill?
No.
It's not a complete tournament if you can't use one Sharp Blade Quill.
There were probably quite a few instances in which I could have used Sharp Blade Quill, but I don't think I ever wanted to. Flying Flip is just 20 to everything rather than 20 in one spot.
Hey, well, I got against the eventual winner. Congrats, Florian. In our second game, because the second game led to the third game, which was a draw. Okay, because time. I actually got a Rainbow Spear.
Right.
to knock his Pokemon out. that was brilliant. Just so you got to use all the other attacks as well.
All the other attacks, yeah.
All the other attacks, absolutely brilliant. And the reason why I asked about the rainbow is because you can use Tapu Cure. So maybe just one. And
I'm not like Tapu Cure is good. It prevents you from like the devolution, and it's sort of 2 extra max potions. But you play so much recovery. You play 3 Acerola and 3 max potion.
Yeah.
So your Pokemon aren't ever really damaged apart from the baby stuff like your Koko and your Ninetales. Like there were games where I set up this loop of Ninetales.
Okay.
Where it was I have a Vulpix on the bench, I have Ninetales in the active. I do X amount of damage. I do like my Ice Blade with like a band or something.
Yeah.
They do not enough damage to KO me. So I'm like, okay, Acerola, promote Vulpix, put the Vulpix down, evolve my active Vulpix, DC choice band, take KO.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to respond to.
Yeah, you got your 3 Acerola in there, and that's really, really nice. So you can just go Acerola, and then you got more flexibility with your 3 Max Potion as well.
Max Potion I used on Decidueye when I was just using it to wall.
Yeah. Guzma, you only played the one.
I mean, I net decked it, but I understand a lot of the reasons why, like card counts and things. Tails, even when we had Forest, we played 1 Lysander. That's because you just bench snipe everything anyway. Yeah. There's not many instances of which you want to bring something up to then just like do a snipe to it when you can just do that on the bench.
Yeah.
I think the most I used Guzma was to do the 80 or 50 poke with the Koko or the Ninetales. Other than that, it didn't really come up much.
So what you're saying is that Guzma was not necessarily. You wouldn't miss Guzma if it was gone.
I wouldn't say I'd miss Guzma if it's gone, because the option of having it's always good, and you can holo hunt it back, so you can get 2 uses out of it max. True.
Yeah.
Like being able to gust a Pokemon up into the active is just good.
It's always good, yeah. Especially if they choice ban a Garbatox and Garbodor.
Yeah.
Hence the 3 Field Blower.
Yeah. So obviously, if you look at my matchups in Swiss and Top Cut, I didn't face a single Garbodor. The room was absolutely teeming with Drampa Garb, Gliscod Garb, a few Espeon Garb dotted here and there.
Yeah.
Because of my 2 draws early on, I never saw any of these decks that were like 3-1 sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I sort of slithered my way through these other matchups that were favourable.
Not the first player that I've observed to do that. Taking 2 draws early in a tournament is quite a risk. However,
I actually, with regionals and cups, I always find myself I lose early on or I draw early on.
Yeah.
And then I just absolutely claw my way through and sort of just take wins and wins and wins.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible, to be honest, because then you dodge your worst matchups that are like dominating. And that are then like sort of bashing heads with each other and knocking each other out of placement. Which obviously happened at Cannock.
Yeah.
Like there was one Drampa Garb in cut, and it got paired with Gardevoir.
Yeah.
And Gardevoir removed it, and I'm just like, oh, that's great.
I just wish that Gardevoir removed it before I played it in my win and win. Yeah. That was I tried my best. I had Xerneas Break. I mean, what can Xerneas Break do against Garbodor? Drampa.
The idea is hit 280. I mean, not 280, 180, but obviously their Berserk without a band is doing 150 to you.
It's just like it's
kind of awful, yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. I actually got down to the last 2 cards in the last game, and if he didn't top deck the energy when I end him and he dead drew twice, I could have actually drawn that match, and I would have had a really strong shot at possibly top 8 with a 303 record, which I think sometimes makes it above the 4-1s.
No, 303 is the same as 4-2. So you would have bubbled like 9.
No, 3-0. Actually, sorry, against the 4-2s. You're right. You're right in the sense that the points are scored are the same, but the 303s will always go above. That's exactly what happened in Chesterfield.
Right.
Just from experience, the 303 actually made it above the 4-2s because when it's the
because it's like you have better resistance.
You got better resistance.
Like,
you didn't lose against anyone. Yeah. That's an interesting one. I mean, like you have to be like an expert on TOM nowadays as well as a player. Well, intentional draws were large, like the last season and the season before, but it's massive right now. Okay, a couple more questions. I wanted to ask, 3 Sycamore, happy with that?
3 Sycamore's fine. I found myself using N a lot anyway, because your hand is like combo pieces that you might not want at that certain time.
Yeah.
So you just shuffle them back and draw like a new hand of stuff that is like more relevant to the current situation.
Okay. All right. I think that's about it. Choice Band and Floatstone, you're okay with the tool count?
I wouldn't disagree with quick to 2 Floatstone.
Yeah.
Because you play 3 Acerola anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll touch upon changes that I'd potentially make.
Go on then.
Or cards that I want. I want 2 Tapu Koko.
Okay.
I want 3 Rare Candy.
Yeah.
I potentially want a 4th Grass. I'm absolutely I'm such a greedy player. Like I want Baby Tails as well, but I don't want to play Rainbow Energy. So without playing Rainbow Energy, I wouldn't play the Baby Tails.
Yeah.
But the application of Baby Tails being able to make your fire matchup even better, it's sort of
insane.
It evens up the Drampagard matchup to some extent because they then have to be able to get their Garbodor to KO you.
Yeah.
So you sort of buy yourself a couple turns.
Well, the way I see it, I think you've got a good point there. With Volcanion, the Baby Volcanion is the only thing that can actually nibble at it.
Yeah.
And obviously if you gust that Baby Volcanion straight away, you're absolutely fine. And they only max out on 2 Volcanion EX. So they can do 80, they can't hit for 110. So you're always going to hit that.
Yeah, like with a band as Baby Tails, you care everything fire because you do 220.
Yeah. I mean, like if you've got no other threats, because there's a non-GX, it's just a walk. It's a walk in the park, which would be the temptation. Like you played 3 Vulpix, so you're trying to lead with the Vulpix anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, I looking at the priorities that you've just raised. I mean, like a fourth grass energy is like a security thing, isn't it?
Fourth grass energy is a luxury.
Yeah, it is a luxury. The 3rd rare candy, I think, would probably be.
I think 3rd rare candy is less of a luxury and more of a necessity.
Yeah. So if I was to do it, I would drop on your advice, I would drop the Floatstone for the rare candy.
Yep.
And then I would start having a real close look at how to get the baby Ninetales. Ninetales, I mean, like you've obviously got the 3 Vulpix. Sometimes, people just play with the 2 Vulpix.
Yeah.
But you want to lead with it.
I would say Acerola count can be changed. Your Max Potion count can also be changed.
Yeah.
Dependent on how Garbodor the format is, your Field Blower count can change as well.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just looking at the format and seeing what's what.
Maybe Max Potion early game with that 3 count.
The 3 count Max Potion early game was like it's a dead card.
Yeah.
Mid to late game, it's like the card's live, like you can use it often.
Yeah.
So cutting 2 Max Potion, I'd be fine with as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that you are cutting it for is a huge step in the right direction against Fire. I mean, sealing that matchup.
Yeah, I think if I was allowed one change in the deck, it would be minus a Max Potion plus a Candy.
Yeah. Oh,
just to increase your consistency.
Yeah. You're not affecting any of the Pokemon, any energy, and any of the supporters. Yeah. The rare candy. You want to have that rare candy more often than not.
Yeah, because it turns a dead card to a live card.
Yeah.
And like rare candy will be live quicker than what Max Potion will be. Max Potion is normally live turn 5 onward, whereas the rare candy is active as of turn 2.
Yeah. All right. Let me just make a fantasy list now. All right, so we got Max Potion down, rare candy. I knew it was going to be a black and white one.
Cool.
Just my luck. Let's do it a bit of justice. Actually, let's go for the old school one. There we go. Yes, PTCGO. Thank you very much for reminding me that I can't play with a 60 card deck. You'd think after all these years, PTCGO would give me a due respect, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. And Floatstone?
Like you could cut a Floatstone. You could cut Floatstone in the grass for like a Baby Tails and 3 Rainbow if you really wanted to.
No, not based on what you suggested earlier with Drampa.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Drampa is like if you're feeling greedy and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna face Drampa, I'll just storm everything else. You would do that, I think. And
your Floatstone's obviously on the Decidueyes, aren't they?
Yeah, so you have to roll them up anyway. Like you play 3 Astaroth, so it's like.
Do you even need the Floatstone then?
Oh, you definitely need the Floatstone.
I mean, like, can you drop the 3rd one?
You could drop down to 2, yeah, because I found that I was using it to retreat an active to go into Vulpix to search for stuff. Yeah.
And if you got that damage on your active Decidueye, you could just Astaroller it anyway.
Oh, you just have to roll it back. Like, the idea is. So this, I think this is like intermediate to advanced play. Yeah. The idea is you always have a baby, not a baby, a basic on the bench of whatever your ass are rolling up. Yeah. So if you have a Ninetales, you have a Vulpix. If you have a Decidueye, you have a Rowlet. Yeah. So, or like a Dartrix. Yeah. So when you ass roll those back up, you can immediately put them into play again. Yeah. Yeah. Rather than having to mill around for a turn sort of delay. Yeah. Your play to go off again.
You gotta hit those beats. You can't skip a beat in this game.
Bench control is quite large.
That's quite an advanced strategy there as well.
Yeah. Deck thinning is rewarded in this deck as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're discarding off like a Rowlet with an Ultra Ball or like other pieces, you're not too sad. Because it means you'll be able to pull off your combos with like candy and things like that, because you'll be able to find stuff easier.
Yeah.
Or like even turn 1, like you Ultra Ball a Decidueye into the discard. You're not sad because you can Rescue Stretcher it back if you have like a rare candy in hand or like a Dartrix in play.
Let's have a look. Oh, that's ruined my display now. Maybe Ninetales isn't a good move. How about that?
I don't think. I'm not sure I'd play Baby Tails without being able to attack with it. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think using it as a wall is strong. Because you have the Decidueye, which is this 240 HP beast anyway.
Yeah.
Which, in like every other matchup except for Fire and Guardy, if they pile on all their energy, they're not going to KO you.
Connor, can I just raise a point? Drampa would not be able to do anything against Ninetales.
Yeah, I know that, like, but Garbodor, and they play 4 Floatstone, like 3 Choice Band, and like 2 Garbotoxin. So the odds of them getting that out is high.
Yeah. Obviously. Maybe, I mean, like if you've got the ideal match against Fire anyway. You do
like the Hoa Salazzle is like not favourable, but it's winnable if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And Volcanion, if you play very smart, and they somewhat dead draw. you're okay.
You got to have a strong heart as well.
Yeah, you just got to believe. You just got to believe.
I mean, like you can't just start fronting with. I mean, like you obviously have to start. Tapu Koko is the key. Is that the reason why you're thinking maybe a second Tapu Koko then?
Yeah, Tapu. Okay, it's not in my eyes. I would say it is not a Decidueye Ninetales list. It is a Tapu Koko spread deck. Like even though it's one Tapu Koko, it's Tapu Koko Espeon, not Decitails.
Well, based on the fact that earlier you suggested, you know, three Decidueye-GX is a luxury, assuming that they're always going to be field blowing your choice bands in preference to Floatstone. You also play Acerola, maybe a drop to 2 Floatstone for that second Koko will grant you the wish that you want.
Yeah. I think dropping a Floatstone for a Pokemon that has a free retreat and is
always good.
Insane is good anyway.
Yeah. I think we've settled on think we've settled on that list.
Like don't get me wrong, this isn't perfect by any means, but like if you know what you're doing and you can think of a few tweaks, like two Kokos blatantly obvious after playing the deck.
Yeah.
Other things might not be so obvious. I don't want to give too much away. I'm thinking about playing this from all League Cups, so some ideas are being kept.
Yeah, definitely. All right, okay. Well, just going to say, very best of luck, Connor. Thank you so much for joining the channel. It's always a pleasure to have you around. And if anyone's got any questions, if they leave it in the comment section, what I can do as well is I can flag up Connor and get the answers if he's busy training up for those League Cups. Trying to get maximum points for this quarter. We've got around about 2 more weeks left, haven't we, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Quarter ends in like end of October or something like that, I think.
Brilliant. For some, it's going to come too soon, and for others, they just want this quarter to be over and out of the way. Right? Yeah. They just want some new strategies. All right. Okay. Take care. Thanks very much, Connor.
All right. Thanks.
All right, and thank you to all our watchers. I hope we've enjoyed this incredibly in-depth analysis. You have been watching Broken Deck Mondays on Team PI Pokemon. Thank you very much, and please give us a like,